Hey y'all, hey. I wanted to hop on here really quick because my high achievers, we need some support, especially if you are someone who is finance is a really big deal that oftentimes we are the generational curse breakers, the responsible ones, the one that everybody reaches out to for support. But so often we actually do not have that same level of support. And when it comes to our finances, if our money is feeling funny, literally you could be on paper looking like the most successful person, but if you don't feel it internally, it just bleeds into your business, your life, your relationships, and I don't want that for you anymore. Sleepless nights are not going to be on my watch. So, if you do not know me, hey, I'm Alex Davis. I'm a CPA, certified financial planner, and a holistic wealth strategist, and the Olivia Pope of Financial Clarity. And the reason I state that claim is I work with top tier badass women, business owners who are, like I said, breaking generational curses. We are really pioneers, we are legacy builders, but oftentimes our finances is less clear. Like we're great in our zone of genius, but when it comes to the financial piece, we're missing some pieces because quite frankly, nobody ever teaches us anything. And so I'm really able when the stakes are high, when your legacy is at stake and your finances and your peace of mind is at risk, that's when clients call me because you already know I'm going to get it together in the fashion that only Olivia Pope can do. So that being said, I was in a workshop, a masterclass series today, and we were talking about results that we've gotten our clients. And of course, in true fashion, when you're working with these mentors, they're like, go deeper, go deeper. And when things come very natural to you, you don't even think that it's like a big deal, like everybody does it. But I was sharing with her that I was working with a client who had not filed her taxes in 3 years. We're talking about $1 million business here, and hadn't filed their taxes in 3 years. And within 30 days, I was actually able to support them in getting everything so they can get their taxes filed. They went on to have their taxes filed and secure a $1.2 million loan. Right? Like that's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. And I just rolled off my tongue like it was nothing. And as I said, and she was like, "Oh yeah, so how long did it take you to do it?" And I was like, "Oh, it was like 30 days. My containers are 30 days when I'm doing those catch up." And her eyes got really big. She practically fell out of her chair. She was like, "What?" And it was in that moment that I realized, I said, "Oh my gosh, this is a big freaking deal." Because when I actually started thinking even deeper about that client, when she came to me, she had shared that she wasn't sleeping at night, was afraid to answer her phone, wasn't checking her mail, didn't want to open her mail. And it didn't matter how successful she was, she just felt like a failure because she knew that she was behind on taxes. And I tell people all the time, I'm not fooling with the alphabet boys. The alphabet boys, I want zero parts of it. And that was her place too. She was freaking afraid. Like just waiting for them to seize her property, to come knock on her door and arrest her, like all these fears because you don't know what's going to happen with your finances. Like nobody tells us these things. And so, of course, she's growing the business, she's scaling the business, she's doing really well. Like many of us high achievers are, we are successful. We know how to make money, we know how to climb these corporate ladders. But then that money piece we don't understand, and then the shame starts creeping in. And when that shame starts creeping in, she started kind of shrinking. And so although the business was doing well, she as a person was not taking care of herself. And it's a dangerous place to be. It's a very dangerous place to be. And so I just wanted to talk about a little bit about how I was able to support her because I wonder if this is you, if you now are in a place where your finances are causing shame, and you'll know if it is, and it's not for you to go out and shout it to the world, but it is for you to know and check in with yourself. And let me tell you something: you're a high achiever, so your shame is not a little delusional. You could be right now listening to this live stream, being like, "Oh my gosh, you are speaking to me. I have not filed my taxes in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, but you have $60,000 sitting in your bank account." Now, I'm not saying that that's smart, especially if it's not like making your money isn't working for you. So that's not smart to have it just sitting in your bank account. But what I am saying is let's keep things in perspective. No, you haven't filed your taxes, but you have money. Now it's just a matter of actually sitting down and getting caught up and feeling safe, number one, to reach out to someone and say, hey, you know what? I know I'm behind. I need help. I'll give you another example. If you're someone who you've already filed and you owe a large amount and you're still like, oh my gosh, I owe the IRS money and I just don't know uh, how to pay them or this, that, and the third perspective. You made enough money to owe. So do not allow that shame to be sitting around here making you feel any type of way. And then even like outside of taxes, you can imagine the things that I experience working with high achieving women because we are so used to being at the top of the top. And if we are not excelling to our definition, right? Sometimes we have to be mindful that and remember that our 50% how we operate, someone else is 130. And we can be, like I said, a little delusional about real world. And so when I work with clients, I really do try and make them feel safe and get things in perspective. So before I go on a tangent, the client that I actually help, fellow high achiever, we're talking about $1 million a year business behind her taxes, 3 years, and in 30 days, we were able to go through, get her finances in shape, so that way she can file her taxes, and she went on to secure a $1.2 million loan. And the approach I take when I'm working with women, because I know as high achievers, we have this pressure on our shoulders, especially because the women I work with are first generation curse breakers, legacy builders. There's no blueprint, zero blueprint, and yet they've been able to go on and be very successful. We're talking about creating $1 million business, six-figure careers, credentialed, experienced, licensed, degreed up from the knee up. Is that what they say? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Degreed, all the things, right? But when it comes to the financial piece, again, there was no blueprint. Nobody told us what to do. And so now we're entering this phase and we need some help. And that's exactly what happened with my client. And so my unique approach is the first step we do is we breathe. So if you're watching this and you're like, Alex, you're clocking my team right now. I behind closed on the outside, I look amazing. On paper, I look great. But I'm carrying my own definition of shame around decisions I could have made differently with my money, decisions I wish I would have made. I have those feelings and I need some support. If that is you, the first thing I want you to do before you do anything is just take a breath. Deep breath. Take several of them if you need to, because that's actually going to allow you to start regulating your nervous system and get you out of that, like, even though it's not. So that's the first thing I have my clients do. And then the next thing is we just get aware, because here's the biggest thing that I have noticed is oftentimes you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you're looking at with your numbers. So the first thing before we go into any of that is let's just be clear on where your financial situation is. Because when I actually started working with this client behind 3 years in Texas, she was so afraid that she thought she was missing so much information. And I was like, well, actually, you have actually quite a bit of this information already. It's just disorganized. And so I was able to actually just sit with her and actually identify what were the missing pieces were and get them organized very quickly because I knew what I was looking for. And because I knew what was necessary and needed, not sending her on some wild goose chase, because this is what happens when you're a high achiever and you're busy. Someone gives you a list of things to do, you don't want to do it to begin with. So what do you think you're going to do? Run. You're going to think of everything else under the sun to do. Ooh, you need to do laundry. Oh, you know what? I need to go through that family photo album. Girl, you haven't looked at those pictures in a decade. What are you bothering the family photo album right now? It's because your nervous system is like, I don't want to do this. I don't feel safe. I'm not going to do it. And so when I work with clients, I make it so easy to where you don't have to try and figure this out on your own because you're going to avoid doing it anyway. So the first step is just to get clear on what do you need? What is actually happening? And then the next step is, and it's probably very unique, is now we're going to dive into what's actually stopping you from doing the thing. Everybody knows that they need a budget. Everyone knows that you need to file your taxes. You probably should be tracking, not probably, you need to be tracking your income and your expenses. We know that these are the things that should be happening, and yet they are not happening. So before I go and start giving you a strategy or giving you a to-do list, we have to start to identify what's actually stopping you from doing the thing that you know you're supposed to be doing. That's what we have to do. Because what I have found after working with thousands of people is that if you don't identify what's blocking you, this change isn't going to be sustainable. So you're going to get caught up on your taxes, and then you're going to go right back into the cycle if someone is not over your shoulder. You're going to save the money, and then if someone's not managing you and overseeing you and everything, you're going to fall back into the same habits. So we have to figure out the blocks and start making you aware of it so you can make different decisions. And that's exactly what we did with my client. I help her see, why are you not wanting to look at these numbers? What's the real reason? What's the story behind it? And once we were able to really identify that, again, she was able to take a breath. I'm like, oh, I see why I'm doing this. I see my patterns. And so we were able to interrupt it. She could actually stay focused, sit down, and not run and try and do laundry, not have to go run and do all these errands that she hadn't been doing in weeks. But now it's time to sit down and look at the money. Now I have all these things to do. Book another conference. Need another conference. Sit down and do this work. Okay, let me get back. So then we have to identify the blocks. And then that's when I actually went into being able to then create an action plan that now that I know what her issues were, it's like, okay, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. So that way it was working with her energy and not against it. Because so often, especially when it comes to finances, sometimes people want to give you this one size fit all. Personal finance and business finances, because you are your business, is personal. And you have to figure out what works for you. Because what works for me and how handle my money and things like that is not necessarily work for you. And so I like to be able to understand, okay, what are your habits? How do you manage? What do you need to actually get to the next level, right? And so we were able to do that. And because was able to break it down for her where it made sense for her and it was working with her energy, we were able to go ahead and get the missing documents that were needed to file her taxes. We're talking about 3 years worth of taxes. We were able to get that done within the first 2 weeks of working together. It was just accumulating the information to get the checklist, and then I could go back and check it and make sure that she was good to go, right? And so, the last piece is you got to have accountability. I have found, whether you have someone over your shoulder or you have built systems that keep you accountable, you can have the action plan, you can know what to do. But if you don't stay on top of it, guess what's gonna happen? You're just gonna have a notebook full of stuff, full of stuff, and it's not gonna get done. So I stayed accountable to her because I told y'all we got this done in 30 days. Well, within the first 2 weeks, we had got all the things that needed to be together to file the taxes, but I need to stay on top of her because guess what happens when you go to file tax returns? Questions may come up. Oh, I need you to explain this. I need you to explain that. What's going on with that? And because I was in her corner, so that way she couldn't run when it was time to answer these questions, I was like, no, I'm an email or voice note away. So when I work with clients, what do I call myself? I'm a voice note vixen. Ooh, doesn't that sound nice? I'm a voice note vixen. And so I have become a voice noter. I was never that way. And now me and my friends, we literally have podcasts. I tell them all the time, we need to start a voice note podcast. It would be so fire because we just get down in those voice notes. But when I work with clients, after we have our strategy session, depending on how you work with me, you actually get access to me via voice note. So when something comes up, instead of you freaking out and trying to figure it out on your own, it's like I'm your cheerleader in your back pocket. You can reach out to me like, okay, my accountant asked for this. I need this information. I'm not sure exactly what they mean, or I'm starting to spiral. I don't feel like doing it. Can we just talk me through it? And we talk we talk through it, and you just get it done. And as high achievers, we need that. We need that in our life. Because let me tell you something. Typically, we are the ones who we figure it out. When hits the fan, who do they call? They're calling you. They're calling me. But who are you calling? And that is the importance of the accountability piece and really having someone who's not just, well, here it is, do it. Because here's the truth of the matter. Y'all ready for it? We're high achievers. We get things done. If it is not getting done, there's a deeper problem. Every single So even with this person who hadn't filed in 3 years, it wasn't that she didn't know what to do. It wasn't that she didn't have the money to hire someone to get this done and get it done quickly. It was a deeper situation at play. It was the shame that was literally paralyzing her. And so until she felt safe enough to actually admit what was going on and raise her hand and ask for help and knew that she wasn't going to be judged, she was going to stay stuck. And that's what happens with high achievers. We feel like we can power through, we just need a little bit more time. I'm gonna do it next week. I know. I just after the vacation. How many times have you said that? After the vacation. Yep, yep. That's just gonna do that. After the vacation. Yep, yep. That's gonna be the girl. Your vacation ended 2 weeks ago. Why haven't you looked at your bank account? Why haven't you looked at your bank statement? Why haven't you made the appointment with your CPA? Why haven't you responded to the email or the text that they sent you? Sometimes you need a little bit of deeper support. And that's what I love being able to offer my clients is, yeah, I could be a typical CPA, but that doesn't light me up. It doesn't light me up. I'm not a transactional type of financial professional. Kind of never have been. And now in this season, the woman who is ready to quit being status quo knows that the level she's playing at is actually going to require someone to get in the paint with her. That's who I serve. That powerhouse woman who knows she's ready to stop playing with herself. Well, that sound a little bit dirty. So not, you know what I'm saying? To not sleep on herself. It's like, okay, we are on the next level and being okay to admit that, right? And as high achievers, shame is probably one of the biggest things I see that actually has stopped so many of my clients. Has led to sleepless nights. I told you this client was behind 3 years in taxes. On the outside, everything looked beautiful. At home, sleepless nights, can't sleep about 3 or 4 hours of sleep, tossing and turning, worrying about when is IRS come and knock on the door. Now imagine doing that for 3 years and in 30 days, that being able to dissipate, being able to sleep sound, 9, 10 hours sleep at night, securing a $1.2 million loan that can help now grow her business that much faster to where she doesn't have to constantly be hustling. Oh my gosh, I need another client. Oh my gosh, it's like, wait a minute, I can breathe. I can actually strategize from a place of calm and not be constantly trying to hustle, stressing myself, taking on clients that you hate because you're like, wait, but because I gotta have this. It's like, no, 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 no. I have a surplus of capital now. You can finally fire that help that you have, but you're just like, oh my god, I can't let her go because if I let her go, then I'm gonna be swamped. It's like, no, 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 no. I don't have to tolerate BS now. That's an added benefit that she got because she finally got caught up with her finances and was able to then leverage funding. Like that is the power when you get clear on what's going on with your finances and you actually get an action plan and you actually do it. And that is what I love so much about what I do with women because it's not just about filing a tax return. It's not just about, oh, saving X amount of money. It's about the woman that you are able to become on the other side of making these tough decisions. That's what it's about. And like I started this conversation with me being in a master class and just realizing that and putting truth to it that it's about the transformation. It's about being able to be empowered. It's about being able to take back your control where you're not staying in situations that you don't want to be in, where you're not having to accept clients that don't value you, where you're not having to keep relationships around that don't support you, and you're having to do twice the amount of work and you're still frustrated as all get out. Forget about it. It's about you being able to walk down the street with held head held high, feeling confident because you're not sitting here running this shame spiral in the background. You're just like, "Oh my gosh, what if somebody finds out what's going on? I don't wanna." Like, no, you're confident. You feel calm. You feel peace. Like, these are the beautiful things that happen on the other side of getting your finances in order and releasing the shame. So, if this is resonating with you and you are like, "Whew, I've got some work to do with my finances." And I talk about the behind on taxes stuff because a lot of times that's what people come to me for, and then we realize, wait a minute, you're actually underpricing, or you don't actually want to be in this part of your business you don't even want. And when we actually look at the numbers, you don't have an ROI on it, so we need to change it up anyhow. That's how it starts, but then we go so much deeper than that. And so my invitation to you is if that is you and you would like to go and explore what would it like to work together, just shoot me a DM and I'm happy to speak with you because what I know is if you're watching me, you have people assigned to you. And I say this all the time. If you don't step fully in your assignment, the people who are assigned to you can't receive what they need. And then the people that are assigned to them can't receive what they need. And then we end up in a world that just is not better off because you aren't showing up. And I was placed on this earth to amplify and support women who are out here building legacies, breaking generational curses because they are meant to have a large impact. And if, like I said, as high achievers, when our money doesn't feel right, when we don't have an understanding around our finances, it we don't function well. We have to call it things. We don't function well. And my gift here is I know numbers, I know money, I know business, I know finances. And for my legacy builders, I'm here for you. So please, 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 whether it's your taxes, whether it's, gosh, I'm sitting on a lot of money and I know that there's probably something I can be doing with it, but I'm afraid. I don't know what's the next best decision. Let's connect because what I don't want you doing is sitting on it and then making poor decisions with it or just being afraid of not maximizing and not really living in your fullest potential. So yeah, feel free to shoot me a DM if you have any questions. Please do not hesitate. You know where to find me. But we're in a season where we cannot play around. Right? The world is moving fast, 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 and people are depending on you. I'm showing up and I want you to show up. And if you need that support, do not let shame, do not let the fear of judgment, do not let any of that hold you back from getting what it is that you need. No, 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 no. We're not doing that. So I hope you have an amazing day, night, morning, whenever you see this, and let me know what he drop it in the comments and share this with a friend who might need to hear it because each one teach one. Okay. Bye.